a sector, looking at the current bill before the National Assembly, believe that what we can do, instead of looking at state policing holistically or trying to change or embrace state policing, we should strengthen our community policing relationship. Do you think that is a better stand as against state policing in Nigeria, looking at our current challenges from different states and the current security architecture in Nigeria?
Yeah, so the reality is that the Police Act 2020, this is just the fourth year, technically. So the issue of community policing has also been there. It was actually introduced by former President Olusegun Obasanjo,
yes.
and then it was introduced a few years down the line. It's a good concept. Tries to ensure that there's a community partnership in policing where the citizens have a role to play in terms of having a relationship with the police, and also the police having a relationship. And that policy also, that even most of the constables should be recruited from the localities where they come from.
That's right.
Yeah, so even the police also is trying to play that role. There's a confusion in the polity in terms of what is state policing and what is community policing.
Okay.
And I try to explain to people that community policing is in the current law of Nigeria. What we are lacking is a holistic approach to implement it. Even though the current IGP and previous IGPs have, addressed and advanced that concept, but there's still a lot to understand. There's still a lot to be done, and there's still a lot that needs to be done, not only by the police, but also the governor and the state apparatus that helps most of these hybrid security organizations that are working in different parts of the state. There is a big difference between community policing and state policing.
Okay.
And then the difference is what is in the National Assembly actually wants to bring to an end just having one police force for the entire nation. What they are trying to do is break the back of the Nigerian police. Now we have federal police and state police. It's clearly stated in the bill, and that is the intent and the intention.
That's right.
So it has nothing to do with community policing, but have a federal policing where the president can appoint the IGP, and then have a state police where the governor can appoint the commissioner of police.
All right. Now, what do you see? What do you foresee as the changes, whether positive or negative, that will come from this if it scales through and the president gives an assent?
It's still a long way to go. There's a long journey. Constitutional alteration is not a tea party.
Okay.
It involves a lot. Both the House of Representatives and the Senate will have to concur and pass it as a bill. Then it has to be taken to all the state houses of assembly. At least you need to get a majority.
Yes.
I think to take majority before it becomes law.
Yes.
The reality is that one of the key things also that the bill tries to make is to have federal police and state police. So there's not going to be any force.
Okay.
Because that's one of the arguments that police officers have been saying, that before you can remove force, you need to alter the constitution. So this is trying to say we have a force. I would have loved them to put federal police service and state police service, but that's the discussion for another day.
Okay.
The other thing also they are planning to set up is the Federal Police Service Commission and the State
Police Service Commission. Because we currently have a police service commission.
We have a police service commission, which is basically tries to do recruitment and appointment and accountability for police officers, except the IG.
Except the IG.
Except the IG.
Okay.
Now, the interesting thing under the bill that we have now is that it creates like I said, the Federal Police Service Commission and the State Police Service Commission. In terms of the appointment of the Inspector General of Police, it's still the responsibility of the president, but it's now the National Council, they call it National Council, who will make a recommendation, and then it still goes into the Senate for confirmation.
Okay.
Then when you go to the state, the governor will appoint, but the recommendation will come from the Federal Service Commission, Federal Police Service Commission. Then the governor, I think there is going to be like 3 names that the Federal Service Commission will propose.
Okay.
And then the governor will appoint one of them, and then subject to confirmation by the State House
of Assembly.
The problem with that is that the State Police Service Commission will not have any responsibility in the appointment of the Commissioner of Police, which ordinarily it should have, if you ask me.
Okay.
But you also know that when it comes to the federal, like it's currently now, the Federal Police Service Commission doesn't even have a role in the appointment of the IGP.
That's right.
It's the president in collaboration with the
National Assembly.
National Police Council
Okay.
and the National Assembly.
Okay.
So, and then also, in terms of discipline, the bill provides that both the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Assistant Commissioner of Police, and the Commissioner of Police will be the responsibility of the Federal Police Service Commission to discipline this cadre of officers, even though they will be operating under the state police.
Okay.
While the rest of the rank will now be dealt with by the State Police Service Commission. So, so what it means is that it has given the Federal Police Service Commission a lot of powers.
Still.
Yes, to deal with issues of accountability. In fact, the bill also provides that every 3 years, the Federal Police Service Commission is going to do audit. It's going to audit what the states are doing. From the way the bill is structured, what it means is that the state police you might have in Lagos will likely be a little different from what you are going to have in Osun State, or what you are going to have in Abia State, or what you are going to have in Jigawa or Taraba. But they want to ensure that there's a kind of uniformity in terms of appointment, in terms of accountability, and in terms of composition and structure. And that is why the bill says every 3 years, the Federal Police Service Commission will have to audit the activities of the states to ensure that there is, kind of, we agree that this serves us and is in the best interest of the country for the promotion and protection of the rights of individuals who are Nigerian citizens and even foreigners. How do you do this? If you say that the state police is incapacitated and unable to act, how will you need the Senate to approve before you deploy the federal police to the state police? So that particular bill is also not clear. So just to conclude, it could help. State police could help to reduce security challenges we are having now. But that is also if it is well structured, it is well funded, and all our eyes are open to be sure that we are not creating another monster.
That's a critical one and a place to think. Do you perceive that there will be a better relationship between the state police and the broader criminal justice system if we have one in various states, like a better collaboration with the justice system?
Even as we speak, there is inter rivalry among already existing security agencies.
Okay.
So there's nothing on the table to show that even the federal and the state police will cooperate very well.
Very well.
And if we go by what we are seeing, it's also possible that the state police might not cooperate effectively with other security outfits. I hope they do. They should. But what we have in Nigeria, of course, if you look at some of the things that may have happened in the past, especially let's say for the Chibok girls, sometimes when those ladies are rescued, you have different security agencies claiming victory.
Yes.
I mean, you really don't know now who did it and all those things. And we've also had high-level senior security agencies say that one of the problems they have in Nigeria is what we call interagency rivalry. Everybody wants to show that they are the ones doing it.
Yes.
But security agencies are working for the federal government. It's taxpayers' money that we are using to pay them.
Very
so
true.
They should work, they should collaborate.
And
should
work for
together.
us.
And work for us.
Yes.
But sometimes it seems they're not working for us because the citizens, unfortunately, sometimes bear the brunt of the excesses of some of the security agencies. Not that everybody is bad anyway, but of course, sometimes the internet brings up one or two things that makes you question the reality. So I hope they work very well. I believe they should work very well. But the template we currently have doesn't show that they work very well.
Yes.
I mean, if you even look at the relationship between Nigerian Security and Civil Defense and the Nigerian police, you see some level of
disparity.
And then if you look at police and probably other paramilitary, and then maybe police and the Nigerian Armed Forces, there's also that tension. And then if you look at DSS and other security agencies, there's also that tension. So the law expects that federal and state police should cooperate very well. The bill rather expects that they should cooperate. But the reality is, if the commissioner of police is no longer answerable to the IGP, will he be able to cooperate? I hope he cooperates. It's expected that he also cooperates because he's dealing with the federal counterpart.
That's true.
But they say he who pays the piper takes
the tune.
Yeah.
Very strong words there. All right, we have a question on WhatsApp from Toby. He says, what is the most critical reform needed to strengthen and modernize our current police structure in Nigeria?
I think there is need to strengthen the Police Service Commission. The law provides that the Police Service Commission has a role to play in terms of accountability, recruitment, appointment, and discipline of police officers. Unfortunately, the Police Service Commission, as is currently situated with funding gaps, needs, and the rest of it, is unable to effectively deal with the issue of policing. Probably that's what the law is trying to say, because it also makes provision for the appointment of members of both the Federal Police Service Commission and the State Police Service Commission.
Okay.
So you now have people from the Nigerian Bar Association, from the National Human Rights Commission, from the Nigerian journalists, recommending individuals who will be members of either the Federal Police Service Commission or the State Police Service Commission.
Okay.
I see the current Police Service Commission as playing a critical role if they are allowed to do it. The question you ask yourself is, has the Police Service Commission ever been allowed to really do the work that they are supposed to do? Has it been effectively funded to do the work it's supposed to do? So
and then we're now going to have a state Police Service Commission. So if the one at the federal level is not really optimal, what are the guarantees that the state will do the work?
Yeah. So that's
these are the issues that we should consider. And my final question is, if you were to advise the president, if you were to sit with him right now with this current challenges and probably merits that you have played right here on the show, what would be your advice? State policing or regional policing?
Let Nigerians feed first.
Let Nigerians eat first.
Yes. Once we are comfortable with the food is now steamwork, we can now decide whether we want state police, federal police, or regional police. Because it's not really the name, or it's not the hood that makes the monk.
Okay.
So for me, the name may be good, but it's what comes out of it. So whether we have a federal police, whether we have a regional police, whether we have a state police, if they are well funded, if accountability mechanisms are effectively in place, if there are checks and balances, if there is oversight, effective oversight, I think they will do very well. Have you asked yourself this question? Why is it that when our police officers and security agencies go abroad for international duties, they do very well? They come back with laurels.
Yes.
And still we have the problems there. So environment also matters. Sometimes we think police officers are saints. They're not saints. They live in the same place. They go to Wuse Market like we do, where we buy a cup of garri, and then we know the salary that we pay them. So it's not just about the name, state, federal, regional. It's about the structures that the government has put in place to support the police and to support the citizens. And effective policing also has to do with effective leadership that also has the trust of the people. So you cannot have an effective policing when you don't have good governance. You cannot have good governance when you don't have democratic accountability. You cannot have democratic accountability when Nigerians are hungry.
All right.
So they're all together.
They're all together.
Yes.
So just make sure that we have a structure that works.
Yes, and that Nigerians are committed to it. Not just lip service, not just to play to the gallery, but let it be something that if we agree this is what we want to do, all the boots are on the ground to say yes, we are committed to this and want to see this, want to see the light of the day on this.
All right.